Billy Ray Cyrus. Welcome to Brandon Mcphee. Brandon, what is it about that appeals to you?
Ron, it's great to be here. It was raining the last time I was here, and it's raining once again.
It's probably been raining ever since, I would have to
I was
say.
thinking that, and I tell you, that was the best song I heard in ages.
Yeah, okay.
I just love that song.
Just for any apparent reason, or just...
It's just so catchy.
Okay,
It just sticks in your head, and I always think if a song sticks in your head and you can remember a certain phrase or a certain line, then you know, well, that's a good song, and that one always stayed in my mind.
Okay, that's as good an explanation as any. It's a song that you have recorded yourself.
I wanted to record a version of it and feature the accordion in it, which I did, and it was great fun to record because I had never heard a version that featured an accordion.
Okay.
So when we were recording the album on Pan Records, All I Want to Do, it was Achy Breaky Heart's 25th anniversary, and I thought, well, it'll be a good time to try the song again. But Billy Ray Cyrus has recorded it a few times since then.
Okay.
I just wish my version was a small bit as popular as his one, but a boy can dream.
The other person I associate that song with, believe it or not, is Sidney Devine.
Oh, another great. He has so many great songs.
I'm glad you said that. He produces some mixed emotions, shall we say, among some people.
That's for sure, but certainly he's a Scottish legend.
Absolutely, yes, couldn't agree with you more. Back to you, though. In terms of what you've been doing, you were here not long before Christmas. You had a Christmas song, and I think you were then touring just after the turn of the year. How did all that go for you?
We were delighted to get back out on the road again with our Christmas tour, and Christmas is, for people that know me, it's one of my favourite times of year. I wish it was Christmas all year round. So it was
That's
great.
a cue for a song as well.
I'll leave that one with you to come up with a song. And got out on the road, and it was great to meet up with everyone again at the concerts, and was delighted with how the single went down.
Right.
And was just really pleased to be performing again. So we're going to be back out performing again next month, which we're really looking forward to, and certainly a lot more after that as well, now that things have come back to some sort of normality.
Okay, just talking about your tour for a minute, looking down you're starting in Inverness, and then you're basically going right round the country: Stirling, Brechin, Langham, Musselburgh,
well, that's
Aberdeen.
Right. Well, the tour name, we always have a name on tours. I don't know why that is, but it's the Brandon Mcphee Experience.
Okay.
Now, as long as it's a good experience, that's the main thing.
That's either the name of the tour or the name of a band, one or the other.
Yes.
So.
Well, you see, there's 5 of us, and some of the musicians is more experienced than others. So we start off on June 22nd, and that's in Eden Court Theatre in Inverness. The first time I would have performed at Eden Court was when I was 11 years old.
Oh gosh.
And it was part of Jim and Catherine Mackay's Button Box Gathering.
Right.
They did an annual button key accordion gathering every September, and I always remember playing solo on the big stage there. I never thought much about it at the time, but as you get a bit older, you realise, well, it's a bit more nerve-wracking now.
Right. Okay.
So that's Eden Court Theatre on the 22nd, and then we go on to Albert Halls in Stirling on the 23rd. 24th is the City Hall in Brechin. 25th, Buccleuch Centre, Langham. The 26th is the Brunton Theatre in Musselburgh, and the 27th is the Tivoli Theatre in Aberdeen. So looking forward to taking the Brandon Mcphee Experience to these venues. It's basically a mixture of tunes and songs, Scottish, country, folk, and there's a few hidden surprises in there as well.
Okay. Do you get the same sort of audience in the different places? Is that a daft question? Or do you...
Well, the thing that always surprises me is how many people loves the Scottish music, they love country music, and the same people love folk music and a whole lot of different varieties. And for me, that's a great thing to have, the variety at a concert, and have people going out at the end of the night enjoying that variety. And we try to play as much variety as we can in a performance, and we've been certainly delighted with the response so far.
Right.
Manson Grant and Jeff McCook is on vocals for some tracks throughout as well. Of course, Manson Grant was Manson Grant and the Dynamos, and Jeff McCook lives over in Ireland, who's been playing guitar with us for around 3 years now, although 2 of those years was the COVID years. so we're going to take those 2 years back. So that means I'm 2
Okay.
years younger than I was.
That's one way of looking at it, I guess. That's fair enough. Good. And in terms of what you were doing through lockdown and all that, I mean, you literally you didn't have the chance to perform live at all.
Well, lockdown, as anyone would describe it, it was a horrible period. Not meeting the people that you would normally meet, not having the public interaction, not having performed on stage. It was horrible. And we were lucky that we had the medium of television. We had a programme on there. It was called Caithness Music's Brandon Mcphee Hour. We've just come off there now to take a break from the summer, but we have been on there for 6 years and had a different episode on every week. So we were delighted with the feedback that we were getting from the television show, and it, as well as the internet as well, with your social medias and things. And we did a lot of internet concerts online as well. And this gave a virtual connection with the audience, but it just wasn't the same as the live connection with people, and that's what we missed so much, and that was what was so hard in lockdown.
Yeah.
But went into a lot of recording as well, and just kept busy as much as we possibly could.
Digressing slightly, you'll be aware of the ABBA avatar or avatar they're calling it. Have you heard any of the stuff in the news today about that?
I've heard about it actually. It's quite amazing, to be honest, that the technology is around to make such a thing, and such an incredible act as well, and after all these years still reaching headlines.
The point I'm getting to is that I heard one of the guys from ABBA being interviewed on the radio yesterday, sadly not this radio station, and he was asked if ABBA would ever perform live again. And his answer was no, absolutely not. What's the point? And he was relating that it was pointless because they could do all this manufacture stuff. But I thought that was a bit demeaning to the public to put it that way.
Well, if we all thought what's the point, then there would be no point.
Yeah, sure.
So certainly, I don't agree with that. I think live music it's always been part of our Scottish culture, and of course culture all around the world, and certainly as long as we all can keep at it, I think the culture will live on.
We'll move on from that. Brandon, it would be great if you could maybe play us a tune, playing live, and then we'll get to talk about your new record that's coming out shortly. But we'll play the recorded version of that. And, what have you got in mind to play for us just now?
Well, what I'll play is the very first tune I ever composed. I composed it for Pan Records, and it's called Ach na Clythe House. It's a great Scottish name, that, isn't it?
Could be quite difficult for some people to say.
It was the signature tune for our television programme.
Okay. Probably said it the last time you were in, Brandon, but I regard it as a real privilege to sit here and to hear you perform, to hear people perform live music like that. It's just absolutely brilliant. And there's some audience reaction already. Mo Higgins, who is a regular listener to Two Lochs Radio and Loch Broom FM, sent an email saying that she really enjoyed the CD which she won the last time you were in. She says hi to you, and the song that she particularly liked from the CD was your version of Loch Islands.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks for tuning in. It's certainly an appropriate song for the area.
Absolutely, yes. And actually, one of the best versions of it is Pete and Diesel. I don't know if you've heard
a great version, don't they? They sure do.
Yep. Anyway, we'll move to that. Talking about great versions of songs, you've got a new song out, which I think I'm right in saying from what you said earlier that it's a bit special as far as you're concerned.
Well, as far as tunes go on the accordion, I've composed just about 25 different tunes. And songwriting was something that I had tried several times and never managed it. But during lockdown, I thought, well, I'll write some ideas together, and the news was on a lot, and everything was very, what I could say, doom and gloom, as you know, and just wrote different phrases down that I might have thought of, or someone had possibly said, or the news was the main influence of things that was going on. And over lockdown, and as we came out of lockdown as well, this year, I thought, well, I would like to put it together and finally write a song. So put some of these ideas together and came up with a song that's called Let's Start Again. And the song was basically me thinking back on the past of myself growing up and how things was a lot different. I know it's, in some people's eyes, it's not that long ago, but it feels a while ago to me. And with technology moving on, and certainly communication moving on, there's a whole lot of differences now. Doesn't necessarily mean it's for the better. There's a lot of things going on in the world, and I thought, well, I would love to write a song about this.
Okay.
So got into the recording studio after the initial stages of writing it, and we sent it over to Phil Anderson in Nashville, Tennessee, who produced the song and got everything done needed that put the song in place. And we were delighted. Well, I was really delighted when I got it back, because I was listening to it thinking, well, I can't believe I wrote this. so I'd like to say I'm really pleased with how it turned out, and it's released on June the 9th on all the digital and streaming platforms.
Right.
So it's available on pre-order at the moment on iTunes for people who like the track or who would like to pre-order it. But I just hope they like it. I'm delighted that you're going to play it here on the station, because I can say this would be the first FM station that has ever been played on here. So
first for Two Lochs Radio and Loch Broom FM. Always keen for that. Just go back to the procedure. Did you write the words and then the tune separately, or did you put the words to an existing tune that was in your mind? Or?
Because I've written so many tunes, I find it easier to come up with a melody. So as I was coming up with the phrases, I just wrote a whole lot of different phrases down. And in trying to come up with a melody, I was just strumming the guitar and have the phone on record, just so you don't miss or lose anything. Yeah. And the melody just started coming to my head, and I wanted to have a melody that was catchy and that people could remember. So after a long time, and I mean a long time, I'd like to think that I got something melody-wise that was quite catchy, and had to rewrite a lot of the words to fit in with the melody that I had come up with. So just delighted with how it turned out.
Good. Okay, and there's more in the pipeline?
Yes, well, it kind of got a BM, if you want to call it that, because I went right into writing some other songs as well. So there's some more to come in the future. And at the moment, there's a Christmas song that I'm trying to get underway with writing as well.
Well, I hope you'll come back next Christmas and play that for us, perhaps again, first for Two Lochs Radio.
I just hope it's not raining.
It will be raining. Of that there's no doubt. Go back to the Nashville producer just for a second. Did you didn't go to Nashville and...
No, well, I must admit, that is one of the good things about the internet. There's a lot of bad things too about the internet, as you know. But the good thing is that you can send tracks internationally to the likes of Nashville and places all around the world, and have some musicians on there. Phil Anderson has been the guitar player on all my recordings that I've done with Pan Records. Another example would be, we sent a track that was written by the Sunny Cowgirls to Australia, and one of the Sunny Cowgirls had done the harmony on me with the track that she had wrote. Right. That was on an album, it was called A Little Bit Rusty.
Okay.
So some of the things that you can do, it really is quite amazing, and certainly it saves a lot of time and travel. But of course you can never... The actual recording in person is really enjoyable too. What it was when I was recording Walking on the Waves with Foster and Allen.
Yes, we were talking about that earlier, as to whether that was a genuine recording meeting with you all in the one room at the same time, or whether it was manufactured. Yes.
We went over to Roseland Studios in Moat and recorded the track there. It was after a few times meeting Foster and Allen. Had already been in touch via the mobile phone and things, but then we got talking about recording a song, and I found several songs that we could have recorded, but Tony thought that, well, I don't quite think that would work. And then Mick thought one wouldn't quite work.
Yeah.
So we found one, Walking on the Waves, and the feedback that we had from it was just incredible. And I was just honoured to be part of it.
That is the Skippinish song that people
That's
know
right.
as a Skippinish
and
song.
Robert Robertson said, I never thought Foster and Allen would record one of my songs. I'm delighted with your version. So I was really
You're
pleased.
pleased with that. Good. Excellent. Well, maybe we'll play that at some point in the future. But, right, let's play the song. Would you care to introduce it for us as to how you would prefer it to be running?
Well, the song is called Let's Start Again.
Okay, it's as simple as that.
Just like that.
Here we go.
I can only dream. What's happening to the world? It's going insane. The people are so hostile and full of rage. When I was a young boy, the days then were so plain. The way things are, they've gone too far, and it's only ourselves to blame. Let's start again on another earth, leaving this one behind. We'll go to Mars, there's no electric cars, and see what we can find. I can only dream. Come with me on my rocket ship, and we could be redeemed. What's happening to the earth? It's so full of pain. People fighting every day and protesting.
Brandon Mcphee, his new single out on the 9th of June. Let's start again. I like the line, Brandon, no electric cars on Mars. For some reason that tickles my particular sense of
Nothing
humour.
like a little bit of space humour.
Good.
On FM and online at 2lr.co.uk. This is Two Lochs Radio and Loch Broom FM.
Still got Brandon Mcphee in the studio with me. Brandon, I've got two more questions, I think, for you. One is in relation to your book called The Story So Far.
Right.
And according to an email that I've got in front of me, it is basically your history, it's described by in this email, including your involvement with the royal family.
That's right.
Tell me about that.
Well, I mentioned earlier on that I had written just about 25 accordion tunes. However, the book came out when there was about 22 of them, and we thought we'd make the book quite different than an ordinary basic music book. So we feature a lot of photos and a history of my time in music, starting off at 10 years old right up until recent time. So the part that mentions the royal family would be because I composed a couple of tunes. The first one was called Birkhall Ball. And the reason that's the title is because I was asked to perform at Birkhall Ball, it's quite a few years ago now, especially for His Royal Highness Prince Charles.
Okay.
And Robert Lovey, who is a great friend and colleague, said you should write a tune and play it at the event and present it to the Prince. So with this in mind, I thought, well, I need to write a tune. So well, I did, and I got it just in time.
Okay.
And played it and presented it. But then the tune that follows that tune, it's called Castletown to Buckingham Palace, because it was a year later that I got the honour of performing in Buckingham Palace for Prince Charles and members of the royal family for an event that was held there. And certainly I wanted to write a tune that represented my time in music, from starting off playing in my small bedroom in Castletown to performing in Buckingham
All the way
Palace.
to the palace. Okay. Good.
So it's certainly a real honour for me. I think there would be about 8 different occasions that I've performed for the royal family.
Okay, so
it's a real honour.
It's by appointment, as the...
Not quite.
The other thing I was going to ask you about was you talked about TV programmes and how there's been a wee bit of a change with that.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, we have come off the television on Spotlight TV for the summer, but we have a new programme which is on Hot Country's website. Hot Country TV, who is the longest running country music TV in Europe. They also have an app on the Android and Apple Store, which is a free app that can be downloaded on your phone, iPads and all this
Whatever,
thing. And
yep.
our programme is on that app or on Hugh O'Brien's Hot Country TV website. It's called Brandon Mcphee's Scotland. So it's similar to what we were doing on Spotlight. However, the show is different, and we go to different tourist destinations. There's a lot more interviews, and obviously a lot of music involved with that as well. So the show has just started up, and there should be a different episode each week on that online platform.
And because it's on an app, presumably you're not tied to listening to it at 7:30 on a Wednesday
Exactly.
evening or whatever. You can listen whenever you
It's
can.
24/7, as much as you want, whenever you want.
Okay, doke. Can you give us another tune, Brandon?
For sure. A tune that's always really popular at our concerts is a tune that was the very first one I ever learnt. It's one that was written by Ian McLachlan over in Stornoway, and it's called The Dark Island.